But first tonight, a man fleeing from law enforcement by jumping into Lady Bird Lake finally agrees to board the rescue boat just within the last 30 minutes. The first incident happened on Eagle Feather Drive. Again, that's off Southwest Parkway and Mopac. The second reported incident happening off Don Sung Drive. APD just confirming via Twitter that 2 men have in fact been hurt and they are being taken to the hospital. But Tony, we don't know yet if these were in fact bombs, if these are any way connected to the package explosions that you've been reporting on for the past 10 days. 5 shootings in Austin within just 24 hours this weekend. That's according to Austin police. In downtown Austin alone, at least 3 people are hurt from all of those shots fired. This kind of criminal activity in and around the Austin area is obviously a growing concern for police.
Quita and Mike, she says it started right here on Old Torque when she was stopped just up this road waiting for the train. She says she honked when another car came tearing in, cutting her off right in front of the rail crossing, and it escalated very quickly. Breaking news out of Southeast Austin. 2 teenagers have life-threatening injuries after a shooting off of 183 Montopolis. It happened just around 4 o'clock. And Mike, if you take a look behind me, you can see the victim's family is here. The mother of the 8-year-old boy standing with friends holding roses in front of the 2 crosses that marks the site where they were killed. That video of a former Austin firefighter that was shared online is now the center of an investigation. In the video, you can see and hear the man talking about paying a woman for pictures of her naked child. The Night Beat's Patrick Perez joins us now more with the latest on this tonight. Patrick. And then the South has had 18 reported tornadoes in 5 different states since Friday alone. So here in Central Texas, not a single complaint, not even about the allergies, which are killing me right now. Nathan Gogo joining us now from the Storm Center. Hey, Nathan.
What marks this protest tonight is the unpredictability of it, not just in the language that they're using, as you just mentioned, but also in the direction that they are going. Aquita, submerged is putting it lightly. If I walk up just a little bit, I want to give you a look at what was a road and the homeowner's yard right next door. Those are waves. It looks like we're looking at an overflowing river or maybe even a gulf, but it's not. These white capping waves are happening in someone's front yard. Tomorrow, a prayer vigil will be held for Shepherd, Vision of Hope AME Church, and her funeral, her family tells us, is set for next weekend. Reporting live from APD headquarters, Kris Betts, KVUE News.
This winter will just not quit, Kris.
It won't quit. And Nathan, those chilly temperatures could translate into costly power bills. Austin Energy warning its customers of higher prices caused by heating homes. Bluebonnet Electric gave a similar warning last week. Yeah, Quita, when you see this boat ramp tomorrow, just know that starting tomorrow through Monday, it'll be packed with boats lining up to launch into the water for what Albert says will be a very hot and very sunny weekend. But if you look over here, do you see these signs? Well, they're new, and so are the problems for boat rental companies here. Well, the rainy afternoon certainly didn't stop people from showing up for the Pride Parade downtown tonight, but it did put a slight damper as people were getting their floats ready. Our own Hank Cavaniero was down there earlier today, joins us now live. And Hank, did you get a chance to dry off a little bit?
Kris, still a mess in some spots.
Yeah, and Mike, but as you said, it's only been a month, so it is frustrating for the people who live out here to have to drive by and see piles of junk like this one you can see right behind me. These are torn out desks and cabinets from the store that was flooded. You know, there's just piles of debris all up and down 1431 like this in Kingsland and in Llano County. You'll see piles of mattresses, piles of couches.
Well, Quita, tonight some of the neighbors here are talking about ways to protect themselves, whether that's cameras, a gun, whatever it takes to make them feel safe again after reports of a man lurking in their backyards.
A shooting, car break-ins, tires stolen right off of their frames. People living in the Harris Branch neighborhood in Northeast Austin say they're fed up with all this crime and they want something done about it. And I think everyone at home agrees with me. Let's hope 2018 is not one for the record books.
Since then, he's written 2 successful books, 10% Happier, which I'm currently reading, and Meditation for Fidgeting Skeptics. We are joined now by Dan Harris himself. Dan, welcome to our sleepy town of Austin, Texas.
It's not so sleepy right now.
Not so
Man,
sleepy
it's
anymore.
Jumping.
It is, and in fact, you're here for South by Southwest.
Yes.
And when do you find time to do this mindful meditation? You have a very busy schedule.
Yeah.
You have a wife, a 3-year-old. A lot of us out there are so busy we think I don't have time to meditate.
Cities and all in Central Texas. In fact, if I walk over here, you can see this one's already built. Features a full-size deck. Inside is innovative technology. And this one comes with a famous name. Check it out. Well, Terry, when we first ran that Crime Stoppers video last night showing the suspect's face, APD officers tell me they received a tip from someone saying they'd spotted the vehicle stolen from one of the victims. They tracked that vehicle down this evening, and when they found the driver, he drove off, crashing here at the Exxon. I want to show you some of the damage he did. And Tyler and Terry, we heard about it last year, but it had been pretty much rumors until that alligator was caught on camera this week. Now, the playground where I'm
standing is only about 50 yards from where the Gators makes its habitat. That has a lot of parents in this neighborhood thinking twice about letting their kids out to play.
Temperatures below 100 degrees in that forecast. We'll show you that coming up, Kris.
Not the kind of cold front you need to break out a jacket for, but we'll take it nonetheless. Thanks, Nate. All right, the area's two biggest animal shelters are asking for your help tonight.
Well, Terry, I actually found my new co-anchor. I was looking for someone who made me feel like I was a normal size, and all I had to do was find the Hulk, and I found him.
Exactly, right over here. Anyway, I'm here for the Winter Comic Con. This is fantastic. I mean, look at everybody's celebration here.
It's busy here, yeah.
Yeah.
And Lou, you've been here since Wednesday. You were telling me you love Austin.
I think that's especially inspiring right now. You know, a lot of people made New Year's resolutions to get healthier. Here we are in February. We've been stuck inside in this dreary cold weather. It's easy to just, I don't know, eat your feelings right now. But it'll be nice to get back outside in the sunshine when it warms up later on this week, Nathan. Speaking of the super blood wolf moon, hey, I said it right for the first time all day today. We've gotten some posts on our KV page on Facebook. A woman said, Donnell Johnston said in Lago Vista tonight that the coyotes are very active because of the
wolf moon.
I'm not going to say it again the right
Super
time.
blood wolf moon.
There you go. Thank you, Nathan. We're talking about taking down meth at all levels. DPS, DEA, Texas Rangers, and several Hill Country counties are still working on a 7-month-long investigation. All of these people were arrested for charges of trafficking meth. 4 are still on the run tonight. And we spoke to a homeowner who's just sick of all these drugs.
It's just a never-ending cycle, and I wish it would end somewhere.
Mugshots litter Sheriff Bill Blackburn's desk, nearly 24 of them.
It hurts to see all this.
These are the faces of people accused of dealing and doing meth in Llano County. The majority of them,
11, 12 just on this list,
are women, and all of them, Blackburn says, have children.
When you pick up a little 5-year-old girl and hold her in her arms because you're at their house and you have a drug bust going on, and then you find out later the little 5-year-old tested positive for meth, you don't have a very good opinion of their parents.
One man who's had enough
I just can't have it around here. I'm not going to.
has drawn a literal line in the sand. No trespassing, slow down, and most importantly,
Attention, meth-free zone, drive like your kids live here.
like your kids live here. Lots of kids live here, 14 of them on this small block alone.
They don't need to have this around them.
It's the traffic on Sean Daughtry Street that concerns him. Cars constantly going by. Most of them, he believes, are meth users.
All night long, 4 a.m., 3 a.m., 2 a.m., you know, it's just constant traffic down Lover's Lane. Somebody has to make a stand.
They live by meth. They don't live for anything else.
And since users won't quit, Blackburn says, neither will they. And the fight starts at home.
I'm not going to let them get entrenched in this neighborhood anymore.
And they're making a difference with the help of county, state, and now federal authorities.
I'm not going anywhere, my kids aren't going anywhere, and I have to make a stand today.
And those 4 people with active warrants will likely be in jail soon. Sheriff Blackburn tells me that the DEA is watching them along with their detectives. In the studio, Kris Betts, KV News, Night Beat.
It turns out a Northwest Austin homeowner's Christmas display may have looked a little too real. Kris Betts joins us now, and Kris, that was kind of the point.
Exactly, Quita. The Wheelis family just wanted to win a decorating contest. They spent a lot of time making this look straight out of National Lampoon's movie, and they did such a good job, someone actually called police.
Sometimes Christmas wishes do come true.
I hope he falls and breaks his neck.
But unlike Warner Bros. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, all this Northwest Austin homeowner wanted was to win the annual neighborhood contest. Instead, they gave a passerby a nearby heart attack.
He was doing everything he could to get the ladder and like save Clark.
All right, can you reach it? Can you reach it? Help!
He even called 911. Here's an Austin police officer stopping by the house moments later.
I've seen it before. I mean, I've seen this other places before, but people start calling in.
Okay. He didn't give up. He was going to save Whatever he had to do, he was going to save old Clark Griswold.
Leah Wheelis's sister and brother-in-law live here. They felt awful when they saw the Nest Cam video and the poor guy's reaction.
It had only been up for a day, right?
Only had been up for 1 day. And so we actually put up a sign because we didn't want that to happen to anybody else. We felt so bad. That Clark G is part of our Christmas display. Please do not call 911.
Turns out it's just a dummy with a really realistic Clark Griswold mask in clothes from Goodwill that match the movie perfectly.
We'd love to be able to find him and reach out. We have a very special gift that we would like to give him, and we'd just like to tell him thank you.
And as for that neighborhood contest,
I think he's definitely going to win. He has a good chance.
Extra points for creativity, dad sneakers and all.
And guess what? Right after we left tonight, they got the guy's number from the audio of his 911 call. Remember, that was all captured on the Nest Cam, and they got a hold of him. Take a listen.
And I was trying to get him down any way I can. And so when I started talking to him, he never said nothing. I said, oh my God, I hope he's not dead. Let me call 911.
Turns out his name is Alfred. He is a retired vet. So, hey, no wonder he jumped in so quickly to save what he really thought was a man hanging on for dear life. Oh, Clark.
Kris, thank you. And Alfred, thank you for wanting to come to someone's rescue. What a
Why is this guy not talking?
No, Alfred is awesome.
It is. I mean, yeah, he really was concerned about the guy, you know.
My whole entire life just changed, you know, overnight. Haven't ever had a drink, smoke, or done drugs. You know, I've done all the stuff. Right, you know, I'm supposed to be like traveling the world and just doing what I want to do, you know. You know, it's just like really, it's really a big change, you know.
In 2014, Cheryl Perkins stood by helpless, watching her daughter Cassandra get increasingly more sick. It was Labor Day weekend, and she was rushed to the hospital.
I know it was God that said go to the hospital. So I called my brother and I said, I have to go now. It was 3:30 in the morning and I didn't know why. I had no idea she was gonna die. But I said, I have to go now to see her. I have to go.
And that would be the last time that Cheryl ever saw her daughter alive.
She said, get me ready, comb my hair, you know. You know, I want you to comb my hair. Make sure I'm dry and make sure I'm clean. But still, I didn't think that she was gonna die. I still didn't.
Cassandra, who had given birth to twins via an emergency C-section just days before, was only 21 years old. Otherwise healthy, her pregnancy with the twins had been a health nightmare. Over the course of 6 months, she went to the emergency room 22 times.
I just don't think they knew what to do.
After her death, Cheryl says an autopsy revealed doctors had left behind pieces of placenta, and the infection killed her. Now Cheryl is left raising the twins alone.
He totally understands everything you're saying and reacts to it.
After nearly dying in the NICU, 4-year-old Cottrell requires constant care. His sister, Camille, is by his side, and their older sister, 6-year-old Journey, all under Cheryl's care.
I know for a fact that my daughter knew that I would take excellent care of them. I can't, you know, imagine life without them now.
Because when a mother passes away, she not only leaves behind a child, she leaves behind the chance to watch her babies grow, to see them turn into beautiful, smiling toddlers. The impact on families' lives is far greater than we can imagine. And in Texas, black mothers are dying at a higher rate than the national average. A statewide maternal mortality task force established in 2013 and expanded in 2017 found that black women in Texas died from pregnancy-related problems nearly 2.5 times higher than white women, many of them, like Cassandra, on Medicaid. And the task force found 80% of those deaths were preventable.
You can get a doctor. You can get the one you want. You know, if it's something going wrong that you don't like, question it.
Because questioning and getting another opinion could have meant Journey, Camille, and Cottrell got to grow up with their mom. But they'll never get that chance. Now Cheryl tells her story to push for change, hoping to save another mother, a black mother, from losing her life. It's easy to feel vulnerable in this chair. With tools and terms many of us don't understand, we trust our dentist will take care of what's wrong. But not all pain can be dulled by Novocaine.
The right side of my body stopped working. I would just be walking and it would stop. I was stuttering, slurring.
Starting in late 2010, Joshua McBride experienced sudden, unexplained symptoms that only got worse. For years, he says doctors tried to figure out what was wrong, prescribing him dozens of different medications, before learning in 2013, McBride had a broad-based aneurysm on the left side of his brain.
I had skull reconstruction surgery, which then failed. And then in 2015, I had a skull implant put in.
But the treatments wreaked havoc on his dental health. Teeth, he says, would randomly break.
That must have scared you a little bit.
Yeah, because I thought, I'm like, okay, the aneurysm's done, everything's over with, and then the teeth just started to just snap.
Which brought him to a clinic in Central Austin.
What was the game plan for your teeth?
We were just going to do molds for dentures.
The appointment started as he expected. A nurse took molds of his teeth, but when she walked off, McBride says he never expected what happened next.
When he came in the second time, he just said, "How much weight have you lost?" I said, "About 20 to 30 pounds." And that's when he just put his hand underneath my pants and my underwear and grabbed my penis.
You froze?
Yeah. And to this day, he took something from me that I'm trying so hard to get back.
Joshua filed a complaint with the Texas State Board of Dental Examiners, but the board responded stating there wasn't sufficient evidence to support proceedings. He then went to police, and that is when McBride learned under state law his alleged attack is considered the same level of offense as a traffic ticket, a Class C misdemeanor.
It turned out that what the dentist did to me wasn't a felony.
Sadly, this isn't the first time we've heard of this happening.
Kris Kaiser is Director of Public Policy for TASA, the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault.
There's usually no arrest. Nothing happens to the perpetrator. Even if they get a ticket, they can just keep doing it over and over again to people.
Like a doctor?
Like a doctor, like a masseuse, like a dentist, anybody.
Under current state law, unless the attack includes penetration, it falls under assault by offensive contact. It's a Class C misdemeanor unless the victim's under 17. Texas, one of only 5 states left in the country without harsher punishment.
I think it should be shocking to any of us. I think most people, especially when they're a victim of this kind of offense, assume that the police can do something about it. And it's only after they report it do they find out the law doesn't cover it.
TASA backed a bill in the 2017 legislative session to make assault by offensive contact a felony, but that bill never made it to the Senate. Now,
this is something that we want to address here in Texas, finally.
It's time.
It is time.
They're pushing for progress once again, and with nowhere else to turn.
Change doesn't happen until someone speaks up.
McBride is focused on telling his story, trusting it will give him closure.
He violated me, but that violation is going to help someone in the future. And it will no longer hurt someone in the future the way it hurt me.
For now, we are not naming the dentist. Joshua McBride claims assaulted him because no criminal charges have been filed against him. But McBride did file a formal complaint in municipal court, and we'll let you know what happens with that. Live in the studio, Kris Betts, KV News Night Beat.
We had a fire.
For a man who takes barbecue very seriously.
Well, this is Franklin Barbecue and all of its charred glory. Yeah, it turns out we had a fire, the wrong kind.
Aaron Franklin is taking his latest setback in stride.
That was just a building, just some sticks and stuff. We will rebuild.
Work is already underway at Franklin's Barbecue after that blaze tore through their smokehouse.
I think next week we'll have the cranes over here tearing this stuff down, but obviously there's not much left of it.
The fire started hours after Hurricane Harvey made landfall.
Harvey was kind of blowing through town, so the winds were certainly a factor in this thing. I think they helped start the fire and make it spread quickly.
They've been shut down ever since.
Totally closed.
So what happens when a world-renowned pitmaster can't work in his own restaurant?
You know.
Well, he goes somewhere else.
You know, the guys here just itching to cook, and we've already got a ton of meat that we'd already ordered, and you know, a lot of people need some help, so let's do it.
For the next 2 Sundays, Franklin will serve his famous barbecue at Austin music venue, The Mohawk. The money will go straight to helping people rebuild after Harvey.
Kind of the same way, same heartwarming kind of stuff. I mean, people wanting to help us out. It's like, well, of course we want to help people.
So while he gets this place back in working order,
cookers are fine. Nary a warped door.
Franklin will barbecue to help others through a tough time.
So we might as well just stick to what we're good at and try to raise some money.
And in typical Franklin's fashion, it's served until it's out. Kris Betts, KVUE News, Night Beat.
On that one, it's a high water rescue. There's about 30 people in the house and the water is rising. They need help for high water rescue.
They're piling up out here. Is there any way we can get high water vehicles?
When there were just too many calls.
The freeway in Southbound Lockwood is all underwater.
We're not going to try and get through that water.
The roof has collapsed here because of the rain.
Too many cries for help.
Can you get hold of somebody on that boat? We need to go back to the engine. Yeah, we got 10 left. They're not going to fit on this one boat that's here. We're going to need one more boat to head back. Another boat around to you. How many can you hold on your boat?
And too few resources.
It's only accessible by boat or helicopter at this time for HFD. Only accessible by boat or helicopter.
We can't get to you, dude.
When Facebook and Twitter replaced 911.
And he and his wife and their 3-year-old son are trapped inside. I've got a female going in the labor.
Everyday people.
The total of 3 people that need evac.
You don't think.
Became.
It's just a feeling that comes over and says you need to do this.
Everyday heroes.
It's all about being a Texan.
And on the day Harvey started driving thousands of people from their homes in Houston, Gene Burnett started his drive from Austin.
Stopped at Academy and got some rubber rafts and life jackets and rope, and within 30 minutes we had 2 boats, a jet ski, and a plan.
Then their 3-hour trip turned into an entire night.
The water was rolling over the hood, so everywhere we tried to go, we got detoured and couldn't get through a freeway. And there were obstacles placed in front of us that just turned out to be an obstacle behind us. There was never a thought of turning around.
You see, Burnett suffered electric shock.
Never is not an option.
18.
No is not an option.
Years ago.
Failure is not an option.
Braces help him use his hands strong enough now to launch a boat and begin rescues in Houston's flooded southwest neighborhoods.
We got quiet to my brother talking to my dad in the back, and we hear someone yelling out. They're yelling out the vent of their roof.
And like so many who grabbed whatever would float, they rescued person after person.
Saying over here, there's more people over here.
Until the faces began to blur. All, he says, but one.
One of the people that we helped get to dry land had been standing for 2 days, holding her baby. A 5-day-old baby, little boy, perfectly fine. It's life-changing.
Burnett and his dad worked 36 hours straight until engine trouble forced them to leave.
Yeah, I think about it a lot.
Guilt, Burnett says, keeps him up at night. Because a true hero doesn't say, I did this. They ask themselves, what more could I have done?
All I can hear is that same story over and over again. I'll be back. I'll be back. And it says we broke our promise.